Hi guys. Hold on. I feel like I'm not close enough to you, so let me come up just a little bit. So, I am so happy that you guys have joined us tonight. This is going to be such a fun broadcast. I pray that your expectation is high. We have people getting on already. Hey, Shannon. I'm a little far away from the camera today, y'all, so I got somebody helping me with the comments. Hey, Toya. How are you ladies doing tonight? So the numbers are already getting up. So we're going to go ahead and start. It looks like we have a nice amount of people on. Hey, Edwin. Thanks for jumping on. Hi, Angela. So guys, this is going to be a good one tonight. I'm so grateful that my friends were so generous of their time. Hang on one second, guys. I'm going to start this. I forgot to do this over here. I'm actually recording from two different ways, so just from two different things. So just give me a quick second. But I'm just so grateful that my friends have decided to join us tonight on this broadcast. And, you know, of course, the title, this is the February Love Series. So I want you ladies to be excited. You know, this is titled You're Next. Because you are. You are next. I need you to understand that God is not a respecter of person. What he has done for myself and Nikki, and he's done the same thing for Stephanie and her husband, Rodney, he would do the exact same thing for you. So I want you ladies to get excited. Like, literally, sit on the edge of your couch, get up in your bed, whatever you're doing, I need you to get up and get excited. This story is going to bless you. When I tell you, I was so grateful to be able to witness their union, their proposal, their engagement party. So I'm not going to tell you everything. I'm just going to let them spill all the beans and tell you guys, you know, how all of this started. Okay, so now I want you, I'm sorry. Okay, there we go. So I want you guys to know that the reason why that, you know, God, I feel like God gave me the vision to do this. It really birthed out of my own frustrations for when I was single. And I didn't really have, you know, anybody to really look to. I honestly, like, I'm not even ashamed to say it, but I would Google testimonies. I'm like, okay, I need to see people who have truly done it God's way. And so God gave me the vision for this Your Next series. So you guys don't have to Google. You don't have to look around all month long. Every single week, once a week, we're going to come on. I'm going to share a different testimony so you guys can get encouraged and know. Also, the word tells us, and I wrote that down here too. In Revelation 12 and 11, it tells us that we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of our testimony. So I'm telling you, ladies, get ready to overcome. Get ready to break off any kind of, you know, bondage that you may have, any soul ties, any relationship that is not of God. I really believe that this story is going to bless you. And I'm going to let Stephanie go ahead right now and jump in and explain to you exactly what, you know, she'll explain a little more in detail and you'll know what I mean by that. So the first question I want to ask you, Stephanie, is would you please share with them, girl, your single journey? And I understand that it was a struggle. You know, we all have been there. You know, Steph and I both have been there. And I know you guys are there now. So I want you just to share with them your struggle, like where you were.
So I moved to Atlanta in 2006. And I came here for all the opportunity. Plus, Atlanta was where it was at. I mean, just to be honest with you. So I came here, moved here by myself. Shortly afterwards, I had two of my best friends move out here, and we were ready to live Atlanta. Yes. And I mean, we had a ball. We partied, then went to work. And I mean, we had a great time. I had a great 7 years.
Wow.
All-star weekends, everything you could think of, we were at. And I remember meeting Fallon years and years ago, and she saw me in my, whatever you want to call it, ratchetness.
Girl, we were there together.
Right? But we didn't want to miss anything.
Right.
And I mean, we had, every night, we had to be in the VIP. We had to be the best looking out there. We had to, and I enjoyed it. I had a good time. I believe you're single till you're married. I mean, I thought I was in this relationship and that relationship. At the end of the day, if you're not married, you're single.
Absolutely.
So I spent 7 single years in Atlanta. I had boyfriends and dated, but never truly my soulmate. And I know that now because I have my soulmate, how those weren't them. And I remember just thinking that it was okay. You know, if I never meet anybody, it's okay because that's only for a certain group of people, you know. Wow. And to find a good man in Atlanta, I know a lot of women will agree, it's difficult, you know. So I was okay being single. Plus, I had best friends who were single, so we were all just in our singleness. And we had fun. So that's just a little bit of my my story.
Okay, well, thank you so much, Stephanie, for sharing that with us. So now tell them when did the light bulb go off? When did you decide that, listen, whatever I'm doing, and you can tell them whatever you were doing, whatever, you were doing at the time it wasn't working. And when you decided that I'm going to do something different.
I was dating someone. It was a long distance relationship. And on paper, this guy looked like he had it going on. I mean, great job, businesses, all of the above. But he was rude. I mean, he was disrespectful. He was rude, but he was edgy. And I thought back then that's what I wanted. Mm-hmm. Someone, I know women can agree. We love the bad boys, all the rough around the edges. And so I remember seeing Fallon and Nikki. I didn't attend their engagement, but I remember seeing their engagement pictures and all of their happy moments and all of that. And I wanted to get with her just to spend time with her, catch up, find out how our relationship was going, and just congratulate her in person. And she, of course, asked about mine, which I was like, why you gotta ask about mine? So I remember sharing with her about my boyfriend that lived out of town. And I told her, I was like, it's not what you and Nikki got, but it's good. It works for me. And she said, what's that mean? I said, well, I'm happy 70% of the time. And she couldn't believe that was enough for me to say I would marry this person. And I thought, hey, I might marry this guy. And she said, no, you're settling. And I'm like, no. And I know people have been there where you're like, just because you found your Mr. Right, don't try to push it on everybody. Right. It's not for everyone. And she was like, no, he's out there. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, I cannot wait for this lunch to end. I'm tired. Like, I don't want to hear, you found yours. You found what was for you. Mm-hmm. It's not for everyone, And so that was October 2012. October, that December, 2 months later, I broke up with him. And the following January, so again, this is all within 3 months, I decided I wanted him back. We broke up, but I wanted him back. I missed him. I just missed having somebody. It wasn't that I wanted him. I just didn't want to be alone. And so I called him Super Bowl Sunday, begged him back. I mean, I begged. I cried. I begged. I told him I couldn't live anymore unless he would be back with me. And he was like, no, it's done. You broke up with me. It's done. He might even call me out my name. But, I begged. And he said, no, I'm done. And so I remember the next morning, that Monday, driving to work, like, God, I cannot believe I was crying over that fool. And God was like, I can't believe it either. So we're going back and forth. And I'm like, don't ever let me do something that crazy again. I will never cry. I will never beg. I will never go through that again. This is your world. You bring him to me. Whether it takes 10, 15, 20 years, bring me Mr. Right. I don't want to have to beg for no one, ask. None of that. So my whole way to work, God and I talked. I cried, I laughed, all of that. But I made up my mind I wasn't going to be the chaser. I wasn't going to do all of that. The things I had done in the past, compromise. I wasn't going to settle for 70%. And that Thursday, Rodney walked into the bank.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm going to pause.
Oh, okay, sorry.
No, let's go. Because this is so good. Like, I've been taking notes because, I'm looking out for y'all, right? So I know the questions that I have, I know y'all like, Fallon, hold on. We have some questions. So I want to stop you right there. And I want to ask you about, you said something that was so powerful. You said that you were happy 70% of the time. 70% of the time. Like, can you expound on that just a little bit more? Like, what you really, why did you feel like 70% of the time was good enough?
That was just my reality. My reality was there's no one out there that's going to be perfect for me. He had anger issues. And he was really disrespectful. And so I felt like, but when he was good, he was good. He was a great guy 70% of the time. The other 30, it was bad. And I had to beg. I remember having to beg him to meet my parents. And him saying, okay, I'm finally ready. And then him backing out. My dad waiting at the sports bar. We were supposed to go watch the football game, and he just didn't show. And so it was all of that, like, the ups, the downs, the highs, the lows, and I felt like I was always going to be in a roller coaster situation, and that was okay because I'd ride out the highs and just deal with the lows.
And that's so important because I think, Stephanie, a lot of women feel like that. They feel like that 70% is enough, and that's what I try to encourage you ladies, when you log into my live feeds, just to let you know that, to me, I don't even know if that was a good choice. I don't know if I want to even say that was a good choice what she was dealing with, but it definitely wasn't God's best. And she's going to bring you to speed on the story, but, I truly believe that if she had not severed, that relationship, that she would not be experiencing God's best, her husband Rodney right now. So I want you to really just pause and just really think about if you're in a relationship right now that's not of God, or if it's in a relationship that's like, demeaning and the person is, speaking negative to you and just not really building you up. I tell you guys this all the time. You want to marry somebody that loves you like Christ loves the church. We all know how much God loves the church. Like, he loves the church. It's his heart, his soul, it's everything. And so you want a man, and that's what the word says. You want a man that's going to love you like that. And so I'm so grateful that, I'm sure Stephanie's grateful that we're friends, and I'm grateful that God was able to give me that revelation so that I can pass it on to her that, hey girl, you don't have to accept that 70%. Like, let him go. Cause I'm sure, Stephanie, if you would have just settled and married him, I'm sure you probably think about this. Cause I know I think about the person before Nikki or the ones before Nikki. If I would have settled, I cringe when I think about had I just not been patient. Yes. And I think that's what happens during the season of singleness. You're so impatient. You're kind of just willing, like, listen, cause I'm sure you were like, I'm getting older, and I'm ready to settle down and I'm just ready to do this thing. So I just wanted to just pause right there and just really emphasize that powerful point that she was willing to accept 70%, basically him being good to her 70% of the time, which is it's just not good, and so she also said something that was really powerful that I wanted to just reiterate. She said, now I didn't even hear her say this really, this is not even something she shared with me, but I know you guys remember me telling you that I was like, God, listen, I'm willing to wait forever. Cause typically we will start putting God in a box. I'll just speak for myself. I would say, God, I want to be married by my birthday this year. Oh, I wanted it to be by Christmas. Okay, God, well, let it be by Memorial Day next year. I just would keep extending the time out when it wouldn't happen. And I was putting God in a box, and God is not meant to be put in a box. You got to trust him and his perfect plan so that he can get you the exact mate that he has for you. And so it was when I said, God, I'm willing to wait forever on you. I'm talking about, y'all, I meant that with my heart and soul, with every fiber of my being. And once you bumped your head hard enough too many times, you don't want to keep bumping your head. I was like, God, look, I've dated all these, ones who I thought were the ones and these good choices, and they didn't measure up to anything. I am willing to wait on your best. And it was at that moment that I met Nikki shortly after, literally a couple months. So now I'm going to go to Rodney, and I want you just from a male's perspective, share with us where you were in your single journey. Like, were you looking? Were you kind of like, hey, if I meet her, it's cool. If I don't, that's fine too. Kind of, where were you?
Well, I had just got out of marriage.
Wow. Okay.
And I was at a mature state, and I always wanted a woman that I kind of put on a list. I wrote a list out.
Oh, well, hold up, pause for the cause. You hear that, ladies? He wrote a list. Okay, go ahead.
On that list, I wanted all the things that I wanted out of a wife.
Great.
And all along, I knew I was a wife, some people say I was a husband material. Right. So I didn't want to be single out there for a long time. So I was reading a lot of books, trying to work on me. First of all, I wanted to make sure if I did go in another relationship, I want to make sure I was right and what my purpose was. So in reading, it said write a list. What do you want? What do you want from a woman? What do you want her to offer you? And how can you make it work between you two? Mm-hmm. So now I came up with a list. So I was like, powerful. After this list, I wasn't gonna settle. Whatever I wrote on this list, it was gonna be 80%.
That's right.
80% of what I wanted, because sometimes you can't get
exactly
everything, but 80% I was gonna go by this list. So that's where I was in my
wow,
single.
Man, that is so powerful. Thank you so much for sharing that, Rodney. So he said something. He said, he wrote a list. And he stuck to the list, and he made sure that he had 80% of it. So, and this was something else that really just made me be like, wow, I almost got chills over here. He said he worked on himself. So I'm telling you, like, in order for him to be his absolute best for you, he has to go through that process where he is working on himself. So I know you ladies remember me telling you all the time, right? I tell you this all the time. I was like, while you're in position and you're praying and believing for him, trust me, he's over there on his face praying for you and believing God for you, and he's seeking, he's looking as well. So, but your job is to be in position. I absolutely believe that if Stephanie wasn't in position, Rodney was ready. He was writing his list. He was reading his books. He was doing everything that he needed to do. He was on the hunt. Okay? That's what you ladies need to understand. He was the one. The Bible said he who finds a wife. He's the hunter, not Stephanie. You heard what Stephanie said. I'm waiting. She was in position. I put up a post about getting information. Come on now, ladies. Let's just get in position. Let's get in position for what God has for us. And so Stephanie was in position. She said, I'm just going to trust God to do this thing, and I'm willing to wait forever on him. And while she was doing that, meanwhile, Come on, y'all know God can do this. He was behind the scenes working it out, rearranging for what Stephanie is about to tell you now. All right, Stephanie, so what happened next?
So, Super Bowl Sunday, I begged for him back. I got dumped. With him, he said, no, it's not going to work. So that Monday, went to work, prayed, had my conversation with God. I committed my life. I mean, I said, this is your journey, God. Just let me know when you're ready. That Thursday, Rodney came in the bank. I was heading to lunch, and another banker said, hey, can you help him? It'll be real quick. So he comes in, and I'm like, oh, he's cute. You know, that quick. I said, oh, he is really cute. So I'm helping him, and I'm trying to maintain my composure. And he tells me, he says, you're beautiful. And I was like, well, thank you. And then he left. And I was like, oh, heck no. This is not happening. Wow. Where I was not used to men saying you're beautiful and not being aggressive. And can I get your number? Can I take, how old you is? All that stuff. He was just, you're beautiful, and he left. And so right then I'm like, dang, like I should have said more. I should have did more. I should have asked him out. This was my chance. But I remembered what I just spoke to God about. And so I kept a sticky note with Rodney's first and last name on my desk. And I said, every day I said, I'm going to call him. And I'm going to think of an excuse to call him. I'm going to ask him how my service was. And I never got a chance.
Hold on. Let's pause right there. I love how transparent you are. This is so necessary. Even though she had made that decision, the flesh was still trying to come in and make her go back on what she had just promised. Like, all right, God, I'm going to do this thing your way. But she didn't give in to that. And you can go ahead and finish. I just think that's important to note.
So I was supposed to call every day. So that was a Thursday. The following Friday, so 8 days later, I'm in a meeting at work. And we're all sitting in the lobby. It's 8:30 in the morning. Fridays, we would have these early morning meetings. And FedEx shows up with roses. And everyone looked at me because in the past I had gotten flowers. And everyone looked like, those are for you. And I said, no, I ain't got nobody. They're not for me. So FedEx said, who's Stephanie? So as I opened the flowers, the card was from Rodney. And it said, actually, I had to go run back to my desk to make sure the names matched. But I swear to you, God is my witness. I said, Rodney Garvin, I think this is him. And I ran back to my desk. I looked at my manager and I said, this is the guy. And so he said, you're not going to remember me, or you may not remember me, but I was in your office last week and I found you to be intriguing. If you'll give me a call, if you get a chance, I'd appreciate it, or something like that. And that was it. That's how I met him.
Wow. Okay, so now let's talk to Rodney, because he was the hunter, right? He was the one that was seeking. So Rodney, you were looking for a wife, right? At the time, you were looking for somebody that you can settle down with to become your wife. You weren't just looking to casually date. Am I correct? And you can correct me if I'm wrong.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Praise Jesus. You hear that, ladies? He is looking for you. You hear what I'm telling you? Okay. So he was looking for his wife. He was looking for somebody, quality material that he can settle down with to become his wife. Okay, Rodney, so can you please just walk us through those emotions, that just walk us through from the time you saw her, what you thought, what was going through your mind, all the way to the time you sent the flowers?
Okay, well, when I first went into her office, she walked in, and the first thing I told her was, wow, you're beautiful. But wow. It wasn't trying to talk to her or come on to her. She was a beautiful woman. And I just wanted her to know that, and then just proceed with what I was doing. I wasn't thinking of
that's your wife,
like that.
Yeah.
But it was a feeling though. It was like an aura in the room. Like it was like a magnetic aura that kind of like filled the room as we were talking. It wasn't like
won't he do it?
What's strange about it?
That's awesome.
I'm gonna go back because I was actually what happened. I was out cutting my yard, and then I need to go to the bank. Stephanie Bank, I never wanted to go in the bank because it was congested.
I worked in the hood.
It was congested. You could never get any parking. I always went to the one that was down the way.
Yeah.
So for some reason, I was running there with my cutting the yard clothes on. But someone just said, "Go ahead and dress up because you had a transaction made. Don't go in the bank looking all bummy." Got dressed.
Hold on, you said something said don't go in the bank looking up. That was the Holy Spirit. The Holy Spirit was like, get you together.
I never went to that branch. So
right.
Even that was like
strategic. Yeah.
But so when I walked in the office, I said, "You're beautiful." We went through my transactions I had to get done, and that was just it. And I was thinking about it as soon as I went to the car. That thought was there. I was like, "Okay, this is a beautiful woman, but she won't want to do it with me."
Okay.
I'm just riding. Plain, simple guy. She don't want to talk to me, so I just kind of like just went on about my business.
So what led you to go ahead and send the flowers? Because obviously she had to still be on your mind. Like it's like probably like you couldn't shake it. Am I correct? Okay.
I was thinking about her. I got a very, very busy schedule. I work at night. So by the time I got around to really wanting to got the conviction to call her, it was like a week later, so I couldn't just pop up to her and say, "Hey, how you doing?" So I had to, come out the box. Guys, you got to be creative. Sometimes. You can't just come up with one. You got to be creative and let her know you're really thinking about it.
Wow, so, that's so beautiful. I love them guys. I pray you guys are blessed. That love story is one of my favorites. Ours is my favorite, and then theirs, and my other couples. But yeah, that's really sweet though. It's very, very sweet. So yes,
I sent the flowers. She called me as soon as she got it, and we've been together ever since.
Wow. Do you hear this, ladies? I need you to really be encouraged. This is so, so, so beautiful. Just the fact that, Angela said, yes, I love it. I'm telling you, like, God, He is so strategic. Remember I told you guys, I don't remember what broadcast, but I said, God is the best matchmaker. He know how to have you I think I said something like this. He can have you in the grocery store, on the aisle. You can forget your keys or forget your, your plus card or something, or, one of your coupons or whatever. Have to run back to the car for whatever reason, and you can bump into him. Yeah. Like, God know how to do this. He had him working in the yard, doing something, minding his own business, and the Holy Spirit was so strong on him. He just had to go to that branch. Yeah. And then he wouldn't even let him rest, and he changed clothes. Like, God he was orchestrating this thing. When I tell you he can write that story perfect, let him do it, ladies. Yes. Take your hand off of it and let him do it. Yes. Okay. Thank you so much, Rodney. I didn't even know that part, y'all. So, this is blessing me. I'm like, wow, that's so awesome. I knew that my friend had found love, but I didn't really know. I never really had a chance to sit down and talk to Rodney about his side of it. So this is such a blessing. I'm so glad I can share it with you guys as well. Okay, so now tell me, Stephanie, so you guys started dating, right? Now, was it a situation? I'm just asking this just for my audience because I know they probably wanted to. So was he like texting you here and there, and then all of a sudden you don't hear from him? Like, oh, I got a busy schedule. The swerve come in, and then all of a sudden, he's so busy. He's been taking you out for a week, and then all of a sudden you don't hear from him. Did that ever happen?
No, and it's crazy because he's nothing like I had ever dated before, and wow. I know for me, like I said, I talked about the rough around the edges and all of that. Mm-hmm. Even in our first conversation, he wasn't a partier. At the time I was like, dang, you don't club, you don't pop bottles, this, you go to work every day, W2. And so he wasn't what I had dated before. I mean, he was family man, God first, family, then work. I mean, he just was different. And I mean, like he said, from the first time we spoke every day. I mean, we spoke, and I tried to fight it because I'm like, God, I know I asked you just a week ago to hook me up. This is really, really soon. I don't know if this is real. I don't want to get too excited, and things are almost a little too perfect. Plus, he wanted to work out on our first date. I'm like, he wanted to take me to Stone Mountain, and I said, who does that? This is not, So, and I tried to fight it, and I mean, the more I fought it, the more God said, this is him, this is him, this is him.
Wow.
Is him. And I mean, we never had any confusion. There was never any breakups, never any, right on.
That's wonderful.
When I wanted to see him, I could see him. He made a way. Like he said, I work days, he worked nights. So we literally, I got off work at 5:30, I'd go to his house, he'd have dinner cooked, and then he'd have to go to work. So
wow. Okay. Perfect. So he could have easily used that as an excuse.
Oh, absolutely.
He could have easily been like, oh man, I got such a busy schedule. This is just not the right time. I'm working on my career. All the excuses, but he didn't do that. And that's what I want you ladies to know. You guys always ask me, well, Fallon, how will you know? You said something so important. You was like, God kept telling you, this is him, this is him. Mm-hmm. Same thing with me. Like the Holy Spirit gave me a complete peace. Trust me, ladies, you will know. Another thing that I want to point out, he was courting you. Yeah. It was not you, sitting over trying to figure out, well, I wonder if he's going to call me today, and, I'm going to get me a little outfit out just in case, it was none of that. Like, he truly courted you. And that's what I'm telling you, ladies, your man of God is going to pursue you, and he's going to treat you like a queen. I'm going to let her tell you about that in just a little bit. Now, I wanted to also make a note. And just kind of encourage you ladies, like insanity, you know, we all know what insanity is. It's doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting, you know, different results. It's just not going to happen. And so Stephanie mentioned something that she said, you know, Rodney was different. You got to try something different, ladies. I tried something different. You know, I had done it, you know, literally I had tried everything. And I said, I'm going to give God's way a try. And when I tell you it blew my mind, yeah. Stephanie's going to talk about their marriage and how, you know, I think she is saying the same thing that I say about Nikki and I. Ephesians 3:20 marriage, exceedingly abundantly. You know, the marriage of, you know, that you cannot even fathom in your mind. You can't even dream about. I'm going to let her put that into her own words. But before we get there, let's talk about the proposal. Yes, let's talk about this proposal. And hold on, ladies, I'm going to give you a timeline too, because guess what? It don't take a long time for all this. So what date did you guys meet?
We met February 11th, because it was right before Valentine's. Yeah, February 11th.
February 11th. Okay, now, did he take you out? I'm sure he took you out on Valentine's Day, right? He didn't give you the swerve like he was busy.
Well, we met 3 days before Valentine's.
Okay.
And he asked me, could he take me to lunch? Because, again, he worked nights.
Okay.
So he asked me, could he take me to lunch? And we met up for lunch 3 days later.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, so. All right, so, you can go, I don't know, what else?
So then we dated.
Yeah,
we started getting serious. Mm-hmm. Serious, I guess I'd say around end of March.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So a month later.
Yes. Mm-hmm. And then it's funny because in October, I was at his house and he was speaking in we terms, like us living together, us this. And I gave him a speech. And I was like, look, I ain't lived with you until I'm married. So you get that out your head. He was like, don't nobody want you to live with me. So we kind of joked about it. He snapped on me. I snapped on him. He's like, I don't need you to live with me. But I didn't know he had already talked to my parents about proposing to me in October. And so in October, he talked to my parents, and then he proposed on Christmas Day.
Tell us about it, girl. They want the details. You can't just duck. You got to tell us all the juice.
So we went to California that's where I'm from. So we went to California for Christmas, and we were all sitting around opening gifts. And this year we had picked names. So each person had a name, and they got that person a gift. So it was Rodney's turn to open his gift. And as he's opening the gift, he's just throwing the papers, and I'm like, why is he just throwing papers around? You know, so I'm literally on video, because my dad videos every Christmas. So I'm on video picking up the trash, like, can you act like you got some sense, you know? And he's just throwing the wrapper, and then he got down on one knee and asked me to marry him. So that was what was in his box, his gift.
Aww.
And so my brothers came in with flowers. Everybody was in on it, and that's how it happened.
Beautiful. So he planned, ladies. Yes. He asked her parents, you know, for her hand, asked her dad for her hand in marriage. So it was picture perfect. I'm sure, you know, like you're probably over there dreaming, praying, and believing God for it. Just know he can do the same thing for you. Nikki and I got a chance to witness the proposal party. They had a surprise proposal party that one of her girlfriends set up for her, and it was so beautiful. They had, because what was that song that was playing throughout the John Legend? What's the song? And it was my first time hearing this. So I was like, oh, this is a beautiful song. And Nick and I was like, yeah, this is nice, you know. But it was so sweet. Like, it just kept playing over and over. They had pictures. Like, it was just like literally like a fairy tale. I remember just sitting there like, I'm so happy for my friend. Like, I was bouncing off the walls happy for her, because we were in that single struggle together. So when she came out, I was like, girl, yes. Like, I'm so glad that she saw her worth. She stood her ground, and now she's experiencing God's best. So let's talk about God's best. Let's talk about this marriage that you guys have now. If you can, I'll start with you, Rodney. If you can kind of sum it up, you know, how would you describe your marriage to Stephanie?
It's just been a wonderful ride, wonderful experience. It's like I don't want to let my wife down. When I leave this house, when I get up in the morning, I'm serious. When I get up, when I'm at work, playing ball, whatever I'm doing, I'm representing my wife, and I do not want to let her down. Aww. And whatever we do, it doesn't matter. As long as I'm with her, I'm good.
Wow.
So marriage for me is wonderful.
Yes, marriage rocks. So is it safe to say that you guys are best friends?
Yes.
Yay, that's the way to do it. I'm telling you. All right, Steph. And then what about you? How would you, if you could sum it up and you can put into words what your marriage means to you?
The same. I think for me, since I was single for so long, and that's what I was familiar with, I put my friends before every guy I ever dated. Friends. If they weren't doing nothing, then we could hang out. Mm-hmm. And for the first time, I didn't feel like I was missing anything. And I can honestly say, when I'm with him, I can hear stories about my friends and get excited for them, but not feel like I have to be there. You know, they tell me about their trips and their this and their that, and girl, let me tell you, this happened, and I don't feel like I'm missing anything. I feel like my life with him is, like you said, exceeding. I mean, it's anything I could have dreamed of. It's that and more.
Wow.
The trips we go on together, I mean, it's exciting every day. I mean, it's different. It's very, very different. We both, no fights. We can disagree because marriage isn't perfect, but, you know, I never want to hurt him. You know, if I feel like I've hurt him, then, I mean, it kills me.
Oh,
so
wow.
it's just a different experience, and I wouldn't trade it for the world.
So do you feel like that this basically was it even more than you could ever dream of? Like,
absolutely.
Wow.
Absolutely. There's times where I could be acting a fool, and I'm like, dang, he didn't say nothing bad, you know, and he still loves me, and
unconditional, right?
You know, and there's times where like I'm not lovable, and he'll come in and tell me I'm beautiful, and I mean, every morning I know I'm getting a text from him. Every morning I could be at work, and every morning he's like, my life is complete because you're in it. Or,
wow.
You know, and he's consistent. This is
consistent.
3 years in.
I wish I had something to flash on the screen. Consistent. Yes, Jesus. That's awesome.
I think about him throughout the day. I miss him when I'm not around. I know I'm going to see him in a few hours, and I mean, it's just.
Now, did you ever think? I'm just listening to you. I'm like, man, this is so powerful, God. This is so you. Did you ever feel like that you would experience this kind of love?
Oh, absolutely not.
But it took you making a stand. Even you writing. Oh wow. Yeah. Wow.
I didn't think. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't think it existed. I thought everybody was playing. And I used to always say, I would tell my parents, I don't believe two people are equally as in love at the same time.
I remember you. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
I really did not believe that existed. I felt like in every relationship, one person loved the person more, and the other person was settling. And to have that where I know. If my hair is all over my head, if I look crazy, sweats on, I hold my teeth, he's gonna love me as is, and
wow,
and vice versa.
That's powerful. And you know, my pastor teaches us too in church. You know, when you're in a marriage, seek to give the advantage. What can you do? What can you pour? You know, a lot of times people look at relationships as take. And he taught us about when you get married, figure out how you can give. And that's the same thing that would happen with Nikki and I. We will always be looking for ways to make each other happy and to put a smile on your face. Whether it's something simple. I love desserts. He'll stop by and give me a cookie, you know, sometimes all the way home. And he know I'm like eating clean during the week. And he'll be like, babe, eat the cookie. It's okay, you know, kind of thing. So it's that little stuff. And it sounds like you guys have that same thing, you know, going. And that's I'm telling you, that foundation, oh my gosh, like you guys, it is amazing. So glad you shared this story with us. Now, I want you to share something really key with them. From the time you met to the time you got married, how long was that?
A year and 4 months.
A year and 4 months. So just think, you're sitting here watching this broadcast. This can be you on the other side, February 14th. Well, not February, but next February 2018. This can be you. Maybe I'll come out to your home and you'll be sharing your story. You know, who knows? God can do this. I just need you to get excited and know that God can do this for you. It was 11 months for Nikki and I. From the time we met to the time we got married was 11 months. You know, God, I'm telling you, he was, oh my God, he's so faithful. And, you know, for you guys, you said a year and 4 months. And you're going to meet some other couples that was even shorter than that. So I'm telling you guys, it does not take a long time. All you need is somebody who's ready, who's praying, and that's going to come. All you have to do is get in position. Don't worry about the how. The how is not up to you.
Right.
The how is up to God. Your job is just to believe. Okay, so we're gonna stop it right there. And now I'm going to leave it open for questions. So if you guys have any questions at all that you want to ask this beautiful couple that was so generous to take time out of their day. They have a small baby. Skylar is gorgeous. She's 3 months old and she's with her grandma right now, but so I don't want to hold them too long. But they took time out their day to share their heart, share their story, to encourage you guys. So if you have any questions, take advantage of it now. And we'll go ahead. I'm going to leave it open maybe about 5 minutes or so for questions, and then we'll go ahead and end the broadcast. So I know it's a little bit of a delay on my end, so go ahead and type fast if you can. You have your phone, Steph?
I do.
Okay. So we can try to catch some comments on this end. And once I see the question come through, I'm going to read it out loud. So let's see here. So it's 8:33, so I'm going to wait a few more minutes. And if you guys want to ask Rodney, because I know sometimes you want a male's perspective. If you want to ask him some quick questions, feel free to ask him. And I'm sure he doesn't mind sharing as well. Well, before, while we're waiting on some questions to come through, I wanted to ask Rodney about his marriage. Rodney. So, when you how long have you been married? Okay, sorry. So we'll come back to that. They want to know how long. So the question is, how long have you guys been married?
We've married now 2.5 years.
2.5 years. He's great. I'm telling you guys. What was I going to ask you? So when you, I know you said that you were previously married. Did you ever feel like that you would never remarry? Like were you at that place where, man, I don't want to get married again. I don't know if this is for me.
Yes. Right. The time it was done, I had those feelings. Like I just didn't want to go through it again. And that's when I really started praying. Then I was like, because I feel I'm a marriage type of guy. I'm not a single guy out there. So if he gave me that conviction, I would be okay with it.
Right.
But with my first initial, when I got divorced, I didn't want to get married again. But I'm a marriage type of guy.
Right. Okay, elaborate on that a little bit. Because see, these women feel like, these men are this and then it's kind of like, these negative connotations that are in their head. So what do you mean when you say you're a marriage type of guy?
Well, I'm okay being with, I need somebody that I want to put all into.
Wow.
As a single person. I don't really want to run the streets and stuff like that. I want to find that woman that, like I said, the list, and be with her and be content. Okay.
So now, that's perfect. Thank you so much. So Alicia asked, I think I caught your question, Alicia. You asked, you asked Rodney had he been praying for his wife. He did say that he was praying for her. So were you like specifically like, I guess at night or throughout the day, just like, did you petition God and say, God, I want a wife?
I prayed God and asked him to bring me somebody in my life that'll complete me.
Wow.
And that was my prayer.
Okay.
Bring the woman that I want to complete me, that you want for me to complete me.
So yes, ladies, he just answered it again. I think Monica, somebody's asked the same question. Yes, he was praying for his wife and he got her. Do you have a blended family? If so, how have you guys made it work? Great question, Terica.
That is a good question.
Great question.
You want to answer it? Or?
Yes, I have 2 kids from my previous marriage, and Stephanie's been great since day one. And that's very important because when you get in a new relationship and you have prior family,
right.
It's good for the woman or the guy to accept your kids as well.
Right.
And they're also older, so you can imagine as the older kids, they could be opinionated. They could have been hard on me. They could have, but luckily they were welcoming. I think they saw how I treated their dad. They were not in the house with us. Well, his daughter was with him full time when we first started dating. But when we got married, his daughter had gone to college and his son was older. So they are older, but again, we do.
Wow, that's awesome. So yeah, so they have, they do have a blended family and they made it work. So
there was another question and sorry.
It's okay. Oh yeah, that's perfect. So we got one more question that Steph caught. So I'm gonna read that one out loud.
Oh, it's a good question.
Okay.
It's from Candace.
Okay.
I'm assuming she means when I was single or when he was single, how did we stay content?
That's a great question.
Which is a great question. I think as women, we have to know our worth and not be sitting around depressed or discouraged. Live. I had great friends. I found value in my friends. I had, just excellent relationships, mentors. I stayed busy. Even when Rodney and I first started dating, he said it felt like he had to make time. Like, are you available? Are you gonna be, and when I wasn't busy, I played busy, because I wanted him to know that my world was not going to stop because I met a man.
Yes.
And that's a lot of times we put all our eggs in one basket. We meet someone and we're like, oh, I didn't found Mr. Right.
Yes.
The next day, and only to find that it wasn't Mr. Right. Mr. Right had to prove that he was Mr. Right and worthy of my time. So I stayed so busy. Just busy.
And was that attractive? Did that make her more attractive, Rodney? That she wasn't just sitting around like every time you text, she texting back before it's even a second has passed. What you doing? Nothing.
Actually, it was very challenging, and it brought the best out of me because I needed to be creative in order to be creative, like a creative date. Or she brought a lot of positive energy out of me that I had to. I had to come up with stuff. I can't just do the average stuff. and it was good. It brought out a lot of love and a lot of stuff that it gave me a lot of momentum for when we got
something
married.
to look forward to. Yes.
You got to be creative, and you got to be she made me want to be creative.
She kept you on your toes.
Yeah, want to work for the relationship. So that was good.
She knew she was the prize, ladies. She knew she was the prize. She knew that hey, you got to work over here. You're not just going to come over here and just think that you just going to, sweep me off my feet, pull the wool over my eyes. No. I'm telling you, that confidence that Steph had was attractive. It was attractive. It made him say, it made Rodney think like, hey, I can't just step to her any kind of way. I got to be creative. I got to think outside the box. I can't, she's just not any average woman. And that's what you want your man of God to feel like, and Nikki said the same thing. He was like, man, I knew I had to come correct. Like, you ain't really need me for anything, kind of thing. He was like, I knew that you desired to be married. And I expressed that too. So, great. I have a question. Did you guys discuss this like early on, the fact that you were wanting to be married? If so, how soon did you discuss that?
I think our goals were expressed early on.
Like, would you say the first week, the first conversation?
She made it clear that she didn't want to waste her time.
See, the truth comes out.
She didn't want to waste her time if it wasn't going to be anything serious.
So she told you that, like, what, first conversation, first week, like right off the bat?
Early, I don't remember.
But we talked about our relationship goals.
Yeah. Okay.
And what we were looking for. And I expressed it early, but I wasn't afraid to talk about marriage to him.
That's what I was gonna say, because I think some women feel like, man, if I talk about it too soon, I don't want to run them away.
No.
And see, you weren't worried about that. You seem like you guys discussed it pretty early on, and and it was perfect because guess what? That's what Rodney was looking for. Now, if she probably wouldn't have talked about that and they kind of just didn't really mention it, maybe it may have kind of turned him off. Like, I don't even know what she's really looking for. Like, I'm not just looking for a lady that just kind of, just want to play out there and kind of, just be on the scene in Atlanta. He was looking for a wife. That's very important. When the men are looking for a wife, they're looking for quality. They're looking for a woman that will stand with some standards. You know what I'm saying? They're not just looking for the ones that they feel like any guy can walk in and get. And that's why I spend so much time pointing to you ladies, because I want that confidence to come off like, look, nobody's checking for you. Like, nobody's checking for you at all. You're going to have to work, kind of thing. So, all right, guys, I think somebody asked a question. I'm trying to see if I can remember it. She wanted to know, okay, when you were dating, like your exes or whatever, when you were in a relationship, when did you know it was time to cut that, or to cut that relationship off and truly trust and wait on God? And I think you kind of said that, Stephanie. I think they came in last. If you can maybe just sum it up real quick, when did you know it was time to move on past that, your ex?
I think when you're someone's priority or you're not. I think that a lot of times we ask God for signs, and God, show me this, show me that, and God shows them to us, and we refuse to look at him or see him, and he's got to knock us upside the head and say, okay, is that a sign? So I think I knew that I wasn't their priority, so why waste my time when I could go back to my content place, which was my friends, my life, my whatever I was involved in at the time, but I didn't waste time. Like, as soon as I knew, I was out.
Yes.
I never wasted a whole lot of time with anyone in my past. As soon as I got that feeling, I was done.
That's awesome. So I think the most powerful thing you just said was, you can tell when you're not someone's priority. Y'all can tweet that. That's good. You can tell when you're not somebody's priority. I think I even gave that to you guys in the free guide, the free mini guide, like just no brainer stuff. It's going to be so obvious to you. And so Stephanie realized that, she wasn't his priority. And so by her knowing her worth and that she didn't feel like she had to, settle, and it came from being, it came from me talking to her. Cause I think Steph even said that, nobody around her was telling her to stand and to not settle. Everybody else was telling her to take the 70%. And that's typically what happens. You have a lot of people telling you, man, girl, he halfway decent. Come on. You know how hard it is out here. Just deal with what you have. He's a decent guy. Decent is not going to cut it. Decent will not cut it. And you got to let them know right up the back, right up front. Decent is not going to cut it because you're not just an average girl. Okay. Somebody else had another question. I think Tiffany, you said that somebody asked a question. If you can type that in again, I forgot her name.
I just tell her to.
Okay. Yeah. If you text it to Stephanie or type it in again, because sometimes the questions come through, guys, so fast. I apologize. We do miss them. So we'll take that one last question and then we're going to let them get to their baby. Oh, they have a 3-month-old. So we got to let them get off of here. Any more? So go ahead. I forgot the person's name, but Tiffany, if you can have her, did she text it over to you? send the question over. This is good. Oh my gosh, this is so good. I pray you guys are blessed by this. Like, oh my gosh, like this was something.
How long should you wait for someone if you are in a relationship? Is it worth waiting, or are you blocking your blessings?
How long should you wait for somebody if you're in a relationship? We don't really understand this question. Hold on, let me try to see if I can figure out what she's saying.
But I like to piggyback off what Stephanie said from a male's point of view. And if ladies, if a guy, you want a guy to put you before themselves, no matter what. If you're dating him, if you're married, you want the man to put you before him. And I think if you have that in a man, it's going to be special.
Yes. That is awesome. Like, and you heard it from right from him. Like, yes, from a male's perspective, you want somebody, and that's that same thing that I'm saying. You want him to love you, basically. You know, like Christ loves the church, and I think one said that he even loved you. Like one scripture says, he loved you like more than he loved his own body or his own self or something like that. Like that's the kind of man you need to be praying in. Pray the walls down. Like pray him in. He's coming. You see, Stephanie prayed. She believed, and look, you guys are witnessing their testimony right now. This question is, how long should you wait for someone if you're in a relationship? Is it worth waiting for, or are you blocking your blessings? I'm not really sure what she's asking. I don't know if you're asking like maybe should you be dating? And if you are dating, are you blocking your blessings? I would say, I think I've already kind of discussed this in a broadcast. If you are dating someone, remember ladies, I told you, if you're dating somebody that's not God's best or his mate for you, you're just basically just holding up space and you're delaying for your husband to come. So I don't see why you want to waste your time on somebody anyway who's not the one. So if you know that he's not making you a priority, God is telling you, because God is always speaking to us, if he's telling you to leave that guy alone, leave him alone and trust that God is going to bring you your husband. It did not take Stephanie fast. You said you cut him off. How long did it take you? It wasn't long.
And that's why I didn't think it was real. I mean, it happened fast, but I truly believed in my heart and I surrendered. I was so okay. Like I tell my friends all the time, at the point that you say, God, take the wheel and believe it, not just take the wheel, okay, and then and still go back, but truly let him take the wheel. It'll happen quicker than you can imagine.
Wow. Powerful, powerful testimony. Thank you guys so much for sharing your heart, sharing. Yes, absolutely. Thank you guys for listening in tonight. I pray that you were blessed. I look forward to seeing all you ladies at the Girls Night Out event. I will have the link in the subject line of this post as soon as I hit finish on this broadcast. So you ladies, go ahead and get your tickets. Seats are filling up fast. Like, they are getting these tickets. So make sure you get them. They're only $15. You cannot beat that. Dinner will be served. It's going to be an all-male panel of single and married men. So ladies, come on, push through. I look forward to seeing you ladies out. And if you haven't already pre-ordered your copy of While I Wait, go ahead and pick that up. I believe it's going to truly bless your life. Thank you guys so much for watching the February love series of Your Next, and I cannot wait to share next week with you guys the next love story. And I know that you guys are praying and believing that you will be next. Talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Have a blessed night.
Bye.